In a significant development following the resignation of Dharmendra Pradhan after the student agitation in Delhi, the central government is now moving swiftly to ensure that there is continuity in the Education Ministry, acting on the advice of the Prime Minister Narendra Modi. President Droupadi Murmu has now assigned the additional charge of Ministry of Education to Pralhad Joshi, who will continue to hold his existing portfolio as well. The Pralhad Joshi is a senior Bharatiya Janata Party leader who is a Lok Sabha member from the Dharwad constituency in Karnataka. And he also currently holds the Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution and New and Renewable Energy portfolios. Now, the appointment comes after weeks of some unprecedented student agitation that have now forced Dharmendra Pradhan to tender in his resignation in the aftermath of the paper leak of the NEET examination and other examination irregularities that have created a huge amount of controversy and frustration among students in recent months. Now, the month-long agitation led by the Cockroach Janata Party that enjoyed popular support of the students ended after a third round of talks with the centre following the government's acceptance of the protesters' key demands. Soon after the breakthrough, the protest at the Delhi's Jantar Mantar was officially called off. At the press conference after the meeting, the CJP leaders said that their demands, which of course was the resignation of Dharmendra Pradhan and for the withdrawal of the FIRs against the protesters, had been met by the government. The Union Minister J.P. Nadda, who represented the government at the meeting, said that the government has accepted all the demands that were put out by the CJP and will consider the 5-point charter presented by them. J.P. Nadda asked the protesters to go home and to work peacefully in the future.
कि हम एजुकेशन के एग्जामिनेशन के रिफॉर्म्स के लिए जो आपका चार्टर है उस पर हम गहन चिंतन भी करेंगे और आपके डेलीगेशन के साथ बातचीत करके जो कुछ भी हम डेलिब्रेट कर सकेंगे वो हम करने का प्रयास करेंगे। तो ये इनकी डिमांड्स थी। मेरे ख्याल से इन्होंने जो डिमांड्स रखी थी उन सबको सरकार ने सहानुभूतिपूर्वक माना भी है और एक्सेप्ट भी किया है।
वो भी शॉर्टली सरकार ने अश्योर किया है कि विड्रॉ हो जाएंगे। साथ साथ इन्होंने ये भी हम लोगों ने एग्री किया है कि फ्यूचर में कोई भी एक्शन नहीं लिया जाएगा किसी भी प्रोटेस्टर के खिलाफ एंड सीजेपी की जो टीम है, जो ऑर्गेनाइजर्स है, उनके खिलाफ।
Now, Dharmendra Pradhan, who has been at the center of this NEET paper leak controversy since the issue erupted in the month of May this year, announced his resignation, saying that he takes responsibility for what is happening. In his resignation message, Dharmendra Pradhan said that he has remained committed to the students, teachers and education reforms for more than 4 decades and continues to respect the aspirations and the expectations of the country's youth. He also acknowledged that irregularities had been detected in the NEET-UG examination that was held on the 3rd of May and said that he had accepted responsibility from the very beginning, while noting that the final results had enabled many deserving students to succeed. He also has expressed anguish over the recent 20th of July protests and said that his decision of resigning was guided by the need to protect the interests of the future of India's youth. So as news of Dharmendra Pradhan's resignation spread, there were celebrations that broke out at Delhi's Jantar Mantar, where thousands upon thousands of students had been rallying and protesting and had been demanding for change in the education system. The CJP leaders declared that the movement was a victory for the students, saying that sustained public pressure, especially by the students, especially by the youngsters, is what had forced the hand of the government to force the resignation of Dharmendra Pradhan. The resignation has also sparked reactions across political spectrum. The leader of the opposition, Rahul Gandhi, reacted to the development. Now, Rahul Gandhi welcomed this decision and congratulated the youth of India and expressed hope that the government will now take concrete steps to reform the education system.
तो जाना ही था और अच्छा है कि वो गया, बट अब कॉन्क्रीट स्टेप्स एजुकेशन सिस्टम को बदलने की सरकार को लेने पड़ेंगे।
The Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge described the development as a key victory for millions and millions of young students who are demanding for accountability in the education system and for reforms in the education system. The senior Congress leader P. Chidambaram called for a comprehensive debate on the structural issues affecting education. Former Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal termed this resignation of Dharmendra Pradhan as a victory for democracy, especially led by the youngsters, while the Aam Aadmi Party leader Manish Sisodia praised the resolve of the country's youth. The NCP leader and Lok Sabha Member of Parliament Supriya Sule renewed calls for accountability, sweeping education reforms and also a detailed parliamentary discussion on the NEET controversy. Activist Sonam Wangchuk, whose 26-day-long hunger strike helped galvanize the movement, also welcomed this development and credited India's youth and the young generation, who remember have faced a lot of flack as the Gen Z generation, as the generation that has forced the hand of the government to bring about reforms. Sonam Wangchuk said that he hopes that the resignation of Dharmendra Pradhan as the Education Minister will be the first of the many positive steps that will be taken by the government as a result of this agitation by the youngsters of India.
आंदोलन को ज़रूरत पड़े और कुछ आगे लेना हो या फिर अभी रोकना हो, जो भी करें बहुत ही शांति से करें। मैं उम्मीद करता हूं सरकार से कि इस बदलाव के साथ ही बहुत से और बदलाव भी लाएंगे शासन चलाने के तरीकों में भी।
Meanwhile, the centre has issued its first official response following the resignation of Dharmendra Pradhan. The Union Minister Kiran Rijiju praised Dharmendra Pradhan's contribution to India's education sector, describing his public life as one marked by long-standing commitments to student welfare and public service. Remember, Dharmendra Pradhan himself had agitated for reforms. He thanked Dharmendra Pradhan for his tenure as Education Minister and also wished him success in the future. The Union Defence Minister Rajnath Singh also reacted, saying that the resignation reflects the government's sensitivity towards the aspiration of India's youth and underscores the Prime Minister's commitment in placing student voices at the heart of governance. With Pradhan's resignation and also the end of the CJP protests, all eyes will now be at the central government steps in the coming months to see if there will be educational reforms and transparency in the country's examination system. All right, now joining us on the broadcast, we've got WION's Siddhant Sibal with more updates on this. Siddhant, tell us more about Pralhad Joshi. What changes are we expecting in the Education Ministry going forth?
Well, it's too early to say right now. It's just, in fact, not even 1 hour before the announcement has been made. But this announcement had to be made for a simple technical reason that the portfolio can't be left empty. We really do not know whether this measure is an ad hoc measure or is this a permanent measure. And remember that there has been a strong buzz of cabinet reshuffle as well. When it will happen is the big question as well. Will it happen during the parliament session or after the parliament session as well? But clearly, today was an important day, politically important day for India in terms of the resignation of Dharmendra Pradhan after days of agitation by the students. It, of course, is an issue primarily that erupted after the NEET examination leak failure issue. But since then, we know that the Cockroach Janata Party came in. This party, of course, focused on the resignation being a non-negotiable demand, but also on other issues. There's a 4-week period they have taken. But there are more questions today than more answers. One question, of course, is what is the next big step or measure by the Cockroach Janata Party, because they've tasted the blood in many ways now and they will be keen to do something more. It looks like a start of a political movement as well, and India is no stranger to political movements in the past, from student protests. In the past, we have seen the 2012 protests. These were not, of course, student protests, but a political party emerged, the AAP party emerged. This time around, will the CJP emerge as a party as well?
Right.
In fact, some members are ex-members of the AAP party as well. So a lot of questions.
Right. Indeed, Siddhant, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you very much indeed for joining us here on WION. But this protest has, of course, shown that the students can, of course, come together on the streets and get the government to listen to some of their key demands and key concerns that they have vis-a-vis examinations and how the examinations are conducted in this country. And earlier we spoke with Ms. Aditi Fadnis, who is a senior journalist and a contributing editor at the Business Standard. Listen to what she had to say.
To be completely honest, I was surprised that Dharmendra Pradhan elected to resign. It is a big step down for the government to take, as opposition leaders are saying. If he was to resign, he could have done it earlier, and all this this kind of decimation of public opinion and the kind of the humiliation of the Prime Minister and the government, we would not have seen. But it's there now, and it's on the table now, and the kind of posters that are up, the kind of mobilization that has happened, the demands that are being chanted, the slogans that are being chanted, all that is really deleterious to the reputation of the government. We should not forget that in 2024, this government returned to power, although with a lower majority. They were down from 303 to 240. The alliance partners were so important to them that the Prime Minister, when addressing BJP workers in his thank you speech, referred repeatedly to the NDA and not the BJP. All this suggests that there was an attrition already of support for the government.